In Ecuador, President Daniel Noboa submitted to the Constitutional Court the proposed question for a referendum on the operation of casinos in five-star hotels, arguing that 25% of the revenue would be used to combat chronic child malnutrition. However, according to analysts, this is a pretext to benefit the hotels, arguing that 25% of the revenue would be used to combat chronic child malnutrition. However, according to analysts, this is a pretext to benefit the hotel circle close to Daniel Noboa. More details in the following report.
El ejecutivo ecuatoriano busca impulsar el retorno de los.
The Ecuadorian executive is seeking to promote the return of casinos to Ecuador, which were banned in the country in 2011 during the term of Rafael Correa, who warned about the dangers of gambling addiction, as well as the risk that these businesses pose for money laundering in the context of drug trafficking and organized crime. However, Daniel Noboa submitted a question for their return, arguing that it would be beneficial for the country. This question would be part of the popular consultation.
On the contrary, this will increase crime and insecurity. We all know that mafias surround these casinos, so I believe that crime will increase. I believe that family and social dramas will also increase because there will be people who suffer from gambling addiction and will lose their property and put the safety of their families at risk.
Además, destacó que esta pregunta es netamente una.
He also emphasized that this question is clearly a smokescreen to benefit Noboa's close circle of people with high purchasing power. However, the Ecuadorian president argued in the question that a 25% tax on sales from this activity would be used to finance programs to combat chronic child malnutrition and school feeding. For various analysts, this will only lead to illegal debts, insecurity, mafias, and investments by the Nobis Group, founded and chaired by Isabel Noboa, the president's aunt.
The problem is that they want to waste a question from a teledirected popular consultation to favor someone in their family. I believe that this opens a very dangerous door for more assets to be laundered here, more illegal money, products of drug trafficking, of organized crime. It is a very dangerous trap that seeks, and I dare say this with conviction, to even perpetuate President Noboa in power.
A la par, advierte que en un país dolarizado.
At the same time, he warns that in a dollarized country like Ecuador, the reopening of this business will facilitate money laundering, and he is not the only one with this perspective. Andrade, for example, pointed out that with the 25% of casino revenues that the government offers to invest in combating malnutrition, it is not feasible because what should be implemented is the creation of a stable comprehensive plan.
What they are trying to do is give crumbs to the health system and the social welfare system for chronic child malnutrition, when the allocation should be direct. A referendum costs $60 million. It is difficult to understand how they can implement austerity measures and lay off public servants, cut the healthcare budget, and yet they want to spend $60 million on a referendum.
Mientras tanto, lo que por ahora es un hecho es.
Meanwhile, what is now a fact is that it is up to the Constitutional Court to approve or reject the question regarding the return of casinos, and the other for questions with which the head of state intends to reform the Constitution.
Reformar la Carta Magna. Gabriela Mena, teleSUR.